Welcome to the United States Army Garrison Fort Detrick Change of Command Ceremony. This morning, Colonel Christopher M. Chung will relinquish command of the United States Army Garrison Fort Detrick to Colonel Catherine A. Leidenberg. The reviewing officer for today's ceremony is Colonel Hung. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guests attending today's ceremony include the command team for U.S. Army Medical Research and Development Command, Brigadier General Constance Jenkins, Commanding General, Director Research and Development, Defense Health Agency, and Senior Commander of Fort Detrick. Deputy Commander Colonel Johnny Paul, Deputy to the Commanding General Dr. Carrie Quinn, and Command Sergeant Major Curtis Conklin. We also welcome representing United States Senator Chris Van Hollen is Western Maryland Regional Director Robin Summerfield. Representing United States Senator Angela Alsobrooks is Western Maryland Regional Director Delaney Blubaugh. The Honorable Michael O'Connor, Mayor of the City of Frederick. The Honorable Chris Fair, Maryland State Delegate. Ms. Lisa Swoboda, Senior Director, Office of Military and Federal Affairs at the Maryland Department of Commerce. Representing Frederick County Executive Jessica Fitzwater is Frederick County Director of Economic Opportunity Heather Graham. Former Commanding General of U.S. Army Medical Research and Development Command, Major General Paula Lodi. Mr. Ken Handelman, former member of the Senior Executive Service and Director for Defense Intelligence and Warfighter Support, Office of the Undersecretary of War for Intelligence and Security. Ms. Sarah Zimmerman, former member of the Senior Executive Service and Acting Assistant Secretary of Defense for Homeland, Defense and Hemispheric Affairs, Office of the Undersecretary of War for Policy. In addition to these esteemed guests, we are very pleased to have a number of senior leaders from across the installation, representatives of our local communities and veteran services organizations, members of the garrison workforce, retired members of the military and civil service, and family, friends, and associates of both Colonel Chung and Colonel Leidenberg. Thank you all for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party for today's ceremony. Colonel Harry Hung, Colonel Christopher Chung, the outgoing commander, and Colonel Catherine Leidenberg, the incoming commander. Please be seated. At this time, flowers and gifts are being presented to the Chung and Leidenberg family members in attendance. Colonel Chung's wife, Colonel Retired Kathy Chung, is receiving a bouquet of red roses. Red is the color of the heart and reflects the loving concern that she has shown for the soldiers and civilians of the garrison and their families over the past 2 years. Colonel Kathy Chung's roses are in full bloom, symbolizing the beauty and fulfillment of her time with us at the United States Army Garrison, Fort Detrick. Colonel Chung's mother, Cindy, and mother-in-law, Nancy, are also receiving roses. His son, Wyatt, and father-in-law, Lieutenant Colonel Retired George Matroka, are receiving garrison coins. Colonel Leidenberg's husband, Colonel James Leidenberg, is receiving a garrison coin, welcoming him to the United States Army Garrison Fort Detrick family. Her daughter, Rose, is receiving yellow roses as a token of love and appreciation for her support. We welcome you all to the Fort Detrick family. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the invocation presented by the Garrison Chaplain, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Herden, and remain standing for the national anthem performed by Miss Jenny Benson.
Let us pray. Father in heaven, with humble hearts, we thank you for this solemn occasion and for the distinguished command, Colonel Christopher Chung. We thank you for gifting and inspiring this war fighter with unwavering commitment from his multiple deployments in support of combat operations in Iraq and Afghanistan to his humanitarian service during times of natural disaster. With your blessing upon him, his guidance has strengthened this command and upheld the highest standards of our Army. We give thanks also for his wife, Kathleen, their sons, Jackson, Brady, and Wyatt, whose love and sacrifice have been their constant support. May your grace pursue, uphold, bless, and protect them. I carry on. Now we turn with hopeful anticipation. Welcome your chosen leader for our garrison, Colonel Catherine Leidenberg. Oh Lord, thank you for preparing her for this great occasion. Grant her discernment, resilience, compassion, and courage needed to lead this garrison with excellence into the future. And for her husband, Colonel James Leidenberg, and their daughters, Anna Lee and Rose, may they experience the warmth of a welcoming community. Finally, let your grace be upon this command, these leaders, and all the dedicated soldiers and civilians who serve here. In your wonderful name, amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. From ancient times, armies throughout the world have conducted ceremonies to commemorate victories over enemies, honor comrades in arms, and celebrate special occasions as we are doing today. These ceremonies have added color and pageantry to military life, while preserving tradition and stimulating esprit de corps. The Continental Army established the foundation by which our present-day ceremonies are performed, and today's ceremony is an enactment of an Army tradition that is 251 years old. It reaffirms the concept that the Army is perpetuated on time-honored values and traditions, and not on the accomplishments of individuals. Today, you will witness a small part of that tradition as the garrison colors and command authority of the United States Army Garrison Fort Detrick are passed from one leader to another. The non-commissioned officer corps has always been the key link between the officers who provide intent and the soldiers and civilians who execute. In recognition of their essential role in the success of the garrison command, the senior non-commissioned officer in the garrison, Master Sergeant Tara Laramie, will assist in the transfer of the garrison colors. The change of command is a simple traditional event that is rich with symbolism and heritage. The key to the ceremony is the passing of the garrison colors. These garrison colors represent not only the lineage and honors of the garrison command, but also the loyalty and unity of its soldiers and civilians. The garrison colors are the garrison commander's symbol of authority, representing their responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the garrison commander is, there also are the garrison colors. The custodian of the garrison colors is the Garrison Command Sergeant Major, or in the absence of a Command Sergeant Major, the senior enlisted soldier in the garrison and principal advisor to the garrison commander. The passing of the garrison colors symbolizes the transfer of authority from the outgoing commander to the incoming commander. The passing of the colors demonstrates to the soldiers and civilians of the unit that the outgoing garrison commander has passed the mantle of leadership to the new garrison commander. With this also passes the loyalty of the soldiers and civilians to their new garrison commander. By the authority of Army Regulation 600-20, paragraph 2 and 3, the undersigned assumes command of the United States Army Garrison Fort Detrick, effective 25 August 2026. Signed, Catherine A. Leidenberg, Colonel, Logistics, Commanding. Master Sergeant Laramie is now passing the garrison colors to Colonel Chung, the outgoing commander, signifying the last official act between the garrison's senior enlisted leader and the garrison commander. Colonel Chung is passing the colors to Colonel Hung, signifying a successful completion of command. Colonel Hung is passing the colors to Colonel Leidenberg, the incoming commander, charging her with the responsibility for the unit as its new garrison commander. Colonel Leidenberg is passing the colors to Master Sergeant Laramie, symbolizing her first official act with the garrison's senior enlisted leader and her trust in the unit's non-commissioned officer corps, thus completing the change of command. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the senior commander for Fort Detrick, Brigadier General Constance Jenkins.
Good morning. It's great to see everybody here. So thank you, distinguished guests, our members of our community, and I would say our Fort Detrick family members as well. Thank you for joining us to mark this important transition in leadership from the Fort Detrick Garrison. As a senior commander here at Fort Detrick, I'm honored to recognize Colonel Chris Chung's service and welcome Catherine Leidenberg. As a change of command is both a celebration and a reminder. It celebrates the accomplishments of the command team, the people who made the accomplishments possible. It also reminds us that leadership is trust, passed from one commander to the next with the responsibility for the care of the mission, the workforce, our families, and the community. Chris, although our time serving together has been short, right? I think I'm at 45 days in the seat, right? Your impact on Fort Detrick has been unmistakable, right? You've led this garrison team with energy, candor, genuine commitment to the people who live and work here. You understood that the installation succeeds not only through the missions conducted behind its gates, but also through the trust it builds with its neighbors, the quality of life it provides to its community. An important contribution has been your work to improve the transparency with the public and, I will say, help demystify Fort Detrick. We do have a pop culture sub-following here, which is great, but folks do ask a lot of questions. So this was particularly evident during the dismantling of the old steam sterilization plant. You and your team communicated openly, made information accessible, and helped the community better understand what was taking place. That commitment strengthened confidence between Fort Detrick and the Frederick community. You also made engagement personal through walking town halls in the housing areas. You listened directly to the residents. You saw conditions firsthand, and you worked with your team to assess and address the concerns. That approach sent a clear message that people matter, their voices matter, and leaders must be present where the decisions have the greatest impact. The reopening of the community pool is another lasting example of people first leadership. After the pool had been closed for renovations for 2 years, your team was instrumental in getting it reopened. Seeing the children smiling, playing, and enjoying the pool again was the best measure of success beyond any report, any ribbon cutting ceremony. Moments like that may appear simple, but it makes the installation a community in which it makes Fort Detrick a special place to live, work, and serve. Your team also delivered exceptional results across the installation. The garrison earned top honors in the MCOM ID sustainment, placed second in the recent full-scale exercise assessment, and finished 5th overall in the best garrison competition. Those achievements reflect high standards, disciplined execution, and a workforce that is committed to excellence. And in the spirit of recognizing all of that success, I will tell you, Sergeant Major Conklin really did have Lieutenant General Smith convinced that you were owed prize money. All right, his XO did take that for action to move out, and then he finally caught on that Sergeant Major's got such a great sense of humor, and he comes across so seriously. Finally, I think it took a couple minutes for General Smith to figure out that there is no prize money, is there? But all in all, right, it represents the excellence that is here and the teamwork in this installation. So Chris, these accomplishments did not happen by accident. They reflect your leadership, dedication of garrison professionals you empowered. You built trust, strengthened partnerships, improved quality of life, and ensured the installation remained ready to support its critical missions. Fort Detrick is better because you've served here. Kathy, Wyatt, and Mother Cindy, thank you for your support and the sacrifice you've given Chris and the Fort Detrick community. Military leadership is always about family commitment, and we're grateful for the part that each of you have played in supporting Chris. On behalf of the Fort Detrick community, thank you, Chris, for your exceptional service and leadership, not only during your time commanding the garrison, but across your 26 years of distinguished service to our Army and to the nation. And as you and Kathy begin your next chapter, in retirement, we wish the entire Chung family, continued success, happiness, and fulfill. To Catherine, trying to make sure I remember where we are. To Catherine and her family, welcome to Fort Detrick and welcome to Frederick. Fun fact, Catherine and I attended airborne school together. We figured that out when we met together. So I would say it's especially meaningful to welcome a trusted teammate from an earlier chapter of our Army service. The qualities that were demanded there, courage, discipline, teamwork, and confidence in one another, will serve this garrison well. You join a talented team and a strong community with an important mission. And your extensive experience in logistics and operations sustainment will be a tremendous asset as you continue to build upon the strong foundation that this garrison is laid out before you. To James and Rose, welcome as well as part of this community. I'm glad to welcome the entire Leidenberg family here. Catherine, I look forward to serving with you as you care for our people, strengthen the partnerships here in the community, and lead the garrison into the next chapter. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Acting Director of Installation Management Command Directorate, Transformation and Training, Colonel Harry Hung.
Good morning. What a great crowd here. Elected leaders,
General Jenkins, General Lodi, and many distinguished guests here, senior executives, and as well as the family and friends of the greater Fort Detrick community. Thank you for joining us to mark this significant moment. Yesterday, we were chatting before coming here, and we had a rehearsal not once but 3 times, and that just is a testament of how things are organized around here. If I asked the simple question of what was the funniest moment, and as Colonel Chung was scratching his head, I got to think about this one. So we both agreed at that point that the best is yet to come, and that certainly happened this morning. Yes, you reminded me. It's always a mystery every day you walk into the garrison life of being a garrison commander. Today, we recognize the exceptional leadership of Colonel Chris Chung and welcome Colonel Kath Leidenberg as the new commander of U.S. Army Garrison Fort Detrick. And we are indeed in a special place within our IMCOM Transformation and Training Directorate portfolio of 25 installations. This one wins with the most representation across the Joint Force and other cabinet level agencies. Department of Homeland Security, check. Department of Agriculture, check. Department of Health and Human Services, check, check, and more check. And Veterans Affairs, check. And that directly speaks to the higher level of complexity in the various medical related activities that occur here. The scientific breakthroughs and medical solutions for our joint force over the decades have immeasurably protected our troops. But all of this doesn't just happen on its own. It needs a platform. And that would be the U.S. Army Garrison that operates, maintains, sustains the core infrastructure that provides the critical services needed to keep both the mission and research and testing on path for our joint service teammates and national level agencies, and ensuring the quality of life is delivered for our soldiers, families, joint force who live and work here. 2 years ago, Colonel Chung came into this position and has poured his energy toward making this place better while under stress. And even and most recently, he not only listened, but he heard, as I just received some feedback today. Chris is a huge testament to achieving the successes of being the best garrison, number 5, within the IMCOM portfolio, because in IDS, there's a great amount of rigor that goes into that under Mr. Tyndall. And certainly now you're part of our family. And so we will work and aim to strive to make this place even better as you've transitioned. Even more impressive is how you have managed to effectively handle the variety of challenges coming from so many different tenets that are not part of the Army and even not part of the Department of War. And this is especially so in a year that's been extraordinarily challenging as the Army solvency is repeatedly tested. Make no mistake, there is no prize money. There is none. And we're working our best to scrap every single dollar and make it count where it matters most. You have masterfully pulled together the community, made and created decision space, supporting the senior commander to systematically reduce, realign, and where reimbursable and customer funded positions are needed. You made that a reality, almost to our own detriment, that have prevented us from hiring. And stress has also gotten more dramatic over the course of the past 18 months. We have seen resources and manpower systematically reduced without significant depreciable change in how services are being delivered. And that, my friends, is a testament to the IMCOM professionals, our civilian workforce, soldiers and contractors in the garrison. Your skill and dedication form the backbone of this installation that keeps all of the mission running at full throttle. From nurturing infant babies in our CDC to repairing buildings after weather events, the success of this place, this Fort Detrick Army Garrison, is a direct reflection of your hard work and commitment to excellence. And you know when you've achieved success, when you see a smile on the face of those who are clients, customers,
and those who live and work here. So thank you. Let's give the few IMCOM professionals who are here, as most are jobbing out, to keep this installation running and answering the call to the fire alarm, a round of well-deserved applause. The Chung family, Kathy, thank you for your phenomenal service to the Army. And Wyatt, thanks for supporting your parents. And I know you didn't have a choice, but you served too, as I'm reminded very often from my own children, and to your parents, Cindy, both mom and now really to dad as well. I know your dad is watching down, smiling on this special day for the legacy that he has left you and that you have carried on. And for all the moves that you've made for a combined service of 5 decades, let's give this family and their military children a round of applause. They say there's this gap that exists between directed requirements and available resources and personnel. In the Army, to close that gap, we find exceptional leadership to lead what is arguably one of the toughest and hardest command assignments, and that would be garrison command. And that's who we have here taking the helm with Colonel Kat Leidenberg. You have been specially selected with all the right credentials and assignments at every single level and echelon within our Army. And I guarantee you that every ounce of your logistics and IG background will be tested and retested. I also know that you are exactly who's needed to take this garrison into the next chapter of its story as you jump from one wicked problem, an adaptive problem, to the next as you try to make dollars and cents line up with people, time, partners, both internal as well as external, to deliver on General Jenkins' priorities, expectations, and outcomes. Kat, and to your family, I have every confidence that you will lead with distinction in what will be the most rewarding period of your professional life. And to the entire Fort Detrick community, thank you for your steadfast support, professionalism, and unity. We are. It sounded pretty weak because I'm going to do what General Smith does. We are from vision to victory, and God bless our Army and our nation. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, get your tissues ready. The outgoing garrison commander, Colonel Christopher Chung.
Is with me, so I got him up here on the podium. So good morning, General Lodi and General Jenkins. I wanted you to know first off, see, there's no bias here. The fire alarm goes off at everyone's change of command, including ours. But good morning, Major General Lodi, Brigadier General Jenkins, Mayor O'Connor, Mr. Handelman, Ms. Zimmerman, distinguished guests, my leadership Frederick County colleagues, shimmer swept neighbors, my family and friends, both here and watching the live stream, fellow commanders, mission partners, and friends of Fort Detrick, and most importantly, the garrison team. Thank you for allowing us to give you the excuse to miss work this morning, at least for an hour or so. But I'm kidding. I am humbled that you all took time out of your schedules to recognize our Fort Detrick garrison team and what we've accomplished these last 2 years together. A quick shout out for Garrison Public Affairs teammates on display this morning. First, Jenny Benson and her rendition of the national anthem, please. And Eric Barnes in the booth. I always appreciate the narration from the voice of Detrick, so thank you. I'll start out this morning with my appreciation for being here in this privileged position that I hope I have never taken for granted while I was in command. So first, Major General Lodi, thank you for your confidence in me to command, for being a senior commander who trusted and empowered me to fill a deputy senior commander type role and to support your priorities. The team and I appreciate your advocacy, and I appreciate your leadership and your mentorship. Brigadier General Jenkins, ma'am, it's been a privilege to work with you, as you said, in this short time. but our team and the community here should know that you are committed and passionate about this installation and the missions that it's responsible for. Fort Detrick is in great hands, ma'am. Colonel Hung, thank you for presiding today and for your steady leadership of IDT2 that enabled our transition from IDS and for advocating for our requirements under these trying conditions. I know County Executive Fitzwater's not here, but ma'am, I'm talking to you, and then Mayor O'Connor, sir. Thank you for your teamwork and helping to further strengthen the relationship between the county, the city, and the installation. This further strengthened through our engagements and exploring other opportunities for collaboration where we can. And sir, my personal thank you to you, as we talked yesterday, for always sharing your thoughts and insights on city management and leadership that helped me in my journey as an installation commander. I appreciate that. Ken Handelman and Becky Zimmerman, I am honored that you attended today. My experience in OSD policy under your leadership under some really trying times reinforced the value of critical thinking. More importantly, choosing words wisely to build consensus among various external teammates that came in handy. So thank you for being here. Fellow commanders, mission partners, senior enlisted leaders, I appreciate your teamwork and support for our garrison events, because it's your support and participation for the events that we provide that help us improve and generate more interest in what we're trying to do, to meet yours and the community's needs and to enable your teams to focus on readiness. For Colonel Leidenberg, Kat, to you, James, and the girls, congratulations on command, because the professionals in this command, they'll take your guidance and intent and they'll run with it, and they will not disappoint. I wish you the absolute best as you advance the team further in your tenure for the community and then for the next command team that follows you. My in-laws, mom and dad, thank you for your love and support for Kathy and I across our careers. It's special to have you, having been shared so many of these command moments with you, and you're always making the trips, and we appreciate you. Mom, you taught me the importance of kindness and genuinely connecting with people to show your passion and your care. And I've tried to lead the way that you and Dad raised me and expected me to lead. And I hope that I've made you both proud. Miss you every day, Dad. To my boys, Jackson and Brady, who are off in college, their determination and vision of where they want to go is way ahead of where I was when I was their age. And I will tell you, being able to involve them in the master planning session for Fort Detrick this past summer, it's a memory and experience of this command that I will never forget. So kudos to my master planning team, all right, for encouraging me to bring this aspiring architect and this aspiring civil engineer out for real world planning experience. Wyatt, representing the trifecta today, I love you. Like I've said before, your heart and your willingness to put the work in is your superpower. I appreciate you boys all being part of this journey and supporting your mom and I every step of our careers. Kathy, thank you for checking my ego. Ensuring the boys are always where they need to be, boys plural, because that includes me, and making me see what's truly important, and that's our family. You are one of one. You're my rare limited edition card, and I love you. To my deputies, Ray Wharton and Sherry Westfall, and to my Command Sergeant Major, who should be watching. If he's not, you're getting counseled later. Command Sergeant Major Detrick, you know how I feel about all of you. I'm proud that we commanded as a team. You all carried me when I needed to be carried, and I'm forever grateful for your leadership. The strength of the team is the team, and I believe we made a great one. My directors and chiefs, thank you for my daily education and installation management. I gave you my best, and you indulged every one of my questions and every one of my good ideas. I tried to be a student willing to learn as much as I was a commander. I leveraged your experience while advocating for your missions, and I hope that I set an environment where you felt like you were working with me and not for me. I challenged you and you responded. You challenged me in a good way, and I hope you know that I gave you my best, so thank you. To the garrison employees, service delivery requires people to deliver the service, period. So thank you for your daily commitment to your mission, the people in this community, because your individual contributions that are too often unseen, they are monumental in the grand scheme, and we cannot accomplish the garrison mission or the senior commander's priorities without each of you. So when I joined this team in June 2024, I started by sharing some of former legendary UCLA basketball coach John Wooden's spirit with you, that by doing the hard work, truly doing your best, that we could bring forth the greater team's potential together. So I think it's fitting to highlight Coach again, specifically the two cornerstones of his pyramid of success that you all might be familiar with, specifically industriousness and enthusiasm. See, he believed that industriousness, or hard work, involves more than showing up and going through the motions, because without it, there's nothing to build on. And without enthusiasm, we can't work up to our fullest ability. So I believe that these two traits, industriousness and enthusiasm, that characterizes this garrison team perfectly. I'm privileged to have served with you these 2 years because you are true professionals in every sense of the word. So it's my intent to brag about you to this audience just a little bit before I close up. So please indulge me. For those who aren't familiar, should be now, the motto of the Installation Management Command is "We are the Army's home," as Colonel Hung just highlighted for us. But for me, the most powerful word in that motto, it is an army, right? And that's not a slight to our Army. It's because of the word home is the challenge, right? To me, that was the challenge to make home a purpose for us. And for this team, from the first day, I asked them to consider that if our higher headquarters motto is that we are the Army's home, then it's our calling to make Fort Detrick home to the community who work, live, and serve on this garrison and rely on it for missions and services. So can you see, home is easy to say, right? But it seems so simple. But like I've addressed with our team on many occasions, it's this simple 4-letter word that can mean different things to different people. So I ask everybody in this audience to think about it. What does home mean to you? Because I venture that I could ask 10 people in this audience what it means, and it comes up with 10 different definitions. Because home could be the people who comprise it, if you think about it. If that's what it means to you, then our garrison mission becomes, how do we care for them, right? Residents, veterans, retirees, families, their physical, mental, spiritual well-being. How do we develop and provide for them and integrate with our installation partners to deliver these services? I mean, home could be the physical boundaries of where a family or a community resides. That could be the 4 walls of your house, or could it be the perimeter of this installation? And if that's what comes to mind for you when we talk about home, then our mission is how do we maintain it and fix it when issues occur? And how do we ensure it and protect it from the elements of natural disasters and unforeseen circumstances? But for some of you, home might also be that sense of community, right? The network that surrounds it, supports it. And if that rings true for you, then we have to ask, how do we keep it informed? How do we build and sustain the relationships with the city that surrounds it so that it can be mutually supported and be a responsible partner? So it's a welcome and transparent neighbor. How do we ensure that the services we provide extend to the community that currently exists on the installation, but extends to those who've honorably served and are part of Fort Detrick and the Army or their respective services legacy? So taking all this into account, when our command team challenges our employees to make Fort Detrick home, it's not as easy as you'd think, especially when those who are responsible for answering those questions and solving its problems, creating opportunities for incremental improvement, they largely go unseen because they don't wear the military uniform. So you see, it's the employees, this team of professionals who understands their role in mission assurance for our tenant units, quality of life for the community, and infrastructure readiness. So again, if you indulge me, here's a few examples of what making Fort Detrick home looks like. For all my parents in the room, those who've ever had to drop their child off at the Child Development Center when the child's just not having it. Many of you can relate to this, right? Unconsolable crying, not wanting to eat, it's just a bad day. But making Fort Detrick home is when a child and youth program assistant, right? The Alex Keens and the Christina Smiths of the Child Development Centers who carefully take the child and say, don't worry, mom. Don't worry, dad. We got this. Have a great day, right? Or when a first responder answers a call for service unselfishly, without regard for their own safety, to a house fire, a trapped person in a vehicle, domestic dispute, or an interdiction for suspicious activity at an access control point. Making Fort Detrick home are these types of actions by the firefighter Overholts, the Officer Haltons, and the Officer Simmons of the garrison that result in saved property, a saved life, or the prevention of drugs or other harmful behaviors on the installation. And when a Fort Detrick water line bursts in Frederick City on a cold winter night at 8:30 p.m., and as Murphy would have it, it's never on a weekday. Well, let me tell you, making Fort Detrick home is when a crew from the operations and maintenance utility shop, the AJ Moxleys, the Eric Whites, the Robert Hellethals, the Michael Kaisers, those are the ones who answer the phone with a, hey, we'll be right in, and then respond to diagnose, excavate, and repair a 12 and 18-inch line to ensure Fort Detrick missions don't fail, and they limit the degradation of services and impacts to residents. So ladies and gentlemen, these are just a few of the many daily examples our garrison teammates, many of whom aren't in attendance today because they're doing their job for us and for you right now. So please, again, as Harry did, please join me in a round of applause for our IMCOM professionals. Team, like all of our teammates in other organizations and agencies, we've navigated some incredibly difficult conditions this past year and a half. Through workforce reduction, initiatives, incentives, and reshaping, hiring freezes and a government shutdown, reduced budgets requiring even more ruthless prioritization and other policy constraints, we have weathered the storm together. While working through these challenges, it's this quote that I thought about every day, is that tough times don't last, tough people do. Well, team, I tell you what, you're the tough people. And from the frontline employee who worked overtime to ensure uninterrupted services, or that same employee or supervisor who stepped up into an acting role and is still in that acting role to bridge experience gaps or to fill the supervisor role, I appreciate your toughness. And it's not a surprise to any of you, but that toughness is still required. And I thank you that you bring it every day. Now, several on this team know that I am a movie fanatic with quotes for days. So I'd like to share with the team a quote from one of my favorite movies, Jerry Maguire. And no, it's not show me the money, right? It can't be. It literally can't be, because we're projected for less money this budget in our budget this year. So no, that can't be the quote that I would use. That's a quote for higher headquarters. But the quote I'd like to leave you with, wait for it. And yes, I am going. You complete me. All right? Let me explain. You see, Garrison Command was a blessing. Having served in tactical and operational units for most of my career, the services our garrison provides are those that I took for granted. And there are many who will never serve in a garrison that continue to take these services for granted. Some of the most memorable awards I've had the privilege to present during this command are the length of service awards that for our civilians who served anywhere from 5 to 45 years. Yes, 45 years of service. That is incredible. And as a consumer of these services for years, you've shown me that my view of the total Army was incomplete. That it takes more than military service and uniform that contributes to the total Army. So as I close, I genuinely thank you, and I am forever grateful for you giving me that lens that I needed to be a better commander, better leader, and a better soldier. So to our garrison team, I say again, you complete me. It has been one of the greatest honors of my career and the utmost privilege to have been a small part of this organization and this community that holds a special place in my heart. So thank you all for attending today. This will defend. We are the Army's home. Beat Navy. And thank you for allowing me to make Fort Detrick home with you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Fort Detrick's new garrison commander, Colonel Catherine Leidenberg.
Additionally, the incoming gets 30 seconds, so I'm going to get us there. Distinguished guests, visitors, families, and friends, thank you for attending today's ceremony. Chris and the team, thank you for the best transition I've ever had in my career. I appreciate that, and it speaks to your legacy and leadership. Good luck to you and Kathy in your future endeavors, and thank you both for your service. To the team, I look forward to working with you. You've been great so far. I always appreciate the safety tests. To my family, thank you for the love and support. You guys are great. Love you. Thank you for attending the ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join in singing the Army song. The words can be found in your program. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Installation Management Command Directorate, Transformation and Training, and the Garrison Commander, United States Army Garrison Fort Detrick, we thank you for attending today's change of command ceremony. Colonel Chung will remain at the front of the auditorium to receive friends and well-wishers. Colonel Ladenburg will host a reception in the foyer area. Thank you for joining us on this historic occasion.